Well, we would all agree that education spending, excuse me, and you may not know, is the largest chunk in our state budget. In the last session, they did not have the money to balance the budget in that session, and they postponed payment of the school because it was so big for the next biennium. But we can save our children, our teachers, our schools, and money with taxpayer savings grants. What are these? Well, the cost of educating a child is $11,567 a year. And without getting caught up in all of it, just follow with me for a minute. Parents can choose to transfer their child from a public school to a private school. And this grant will help pay for the tuition. It pays $5,000, it follows the child. That still leaves $3,000 to go back to the public school without a child, and $3,400 that goes back to the state. And with about 7% of children or parents choosing this, a school of their choice for the child, that saves, ready for this, $2 billion per biennium. And what do we get out of that? Choice, better education, competition. This choice does. It introduces competition, which will improve child education. Teachers will have more opportunities and more pay. Parents also have the choice, and it saves us money. It's a win-win-win-win situation. Higher education, we need transparency in our universities. Refrain from tax subsidies for more research. And we need to look at efficiencies, just to name a few of the changes. And with this, we can bring our education budget under control and not sacrifice education.
Well, I just want to, for clarification purposes, actually they raised education funding, state general revenue funding rose from $34 billion to $37 billion for K through 12. But there are grave challenges ahead because we do need to spend our revenues very wisely and prudently. After all, it's not our money, it's other people's money who is funding these education, and we need to make sure that the education product that our students are receiving is worthy of the great state of Texas. We don't need to be throwing good money after bad. We need to be considering a meaningful merit pay to keep good teachers and also ensure that parents have choice because, after all, competition breeds success. We need more Tier 1 universities and higher education, especially in this region. The next state senator from Senate District 25 needs to ensure that the higher education funding is appropriate and worthy of you here in this room today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Senator Wentworth.
Of course we cut education funding last session, or you wouldn't see thousands of teachers being laid off, pre-K programs being cut, gifted and talented programs being cut, art and music in the elementary schools being cut. We didn't budget for the increased number of kids that are going to be in the system in the next 2 years. There were two efforts, one in May and one in June, one in the regular session, one in the special session, to add some money out of the rainy day fund for public education. 1.1 billion was the motion. That motion failed on a vote of 17 to 14. I was one of the 14 members that voted to appropriate an extra 1.1 billion. And I believe we should have, and we're going to have to address it when we meet again in January of next year.